Hello, welcome to Negative Art Productions. I have some super exciting news. My story, The Guy, was used on the most recent episode of Ghost Story Guys. So check it out. Super excited. Just look in the show notes for the mark for it. I think it's 44 minutes in. It's the episode The Guy. They talk about it. They analyze it. Oh man. It was so great to hear. And, really excited about that. So go listen to that. But I have a new story and I've been thinking of which one I should tell next. This is a story I was thinking about and I want to tell it because it's a little bit more intense than the other stories I've been telling. And all of these may sound astronomical, but they're 100% true. So this was another summer night. It was about 2005, so I would have been 15, and we would always hear noises in the backyard in White Bear Lake. It's pretty much in the country. I mean, it isn't, but it's close, especially the township. So one summer night, we heard an animal in crazy distress. I could do the voice, but it's nuts. I don't want to do my impression. Basically, if you've ever heard smaller animals in pain, they make a really high, I don't even know what, screaming, kind of chirping noise. It's terrifying. But I noticed one night it was getting closer. And normally it would stay in the backyard because animals get in fights. Especially those varmints and things like that. They're very territorial, so that's not uncommon. But this is getting closer, and I slept with the window open, so it must have been late summer. And I heard it getting closer. The noise would change, which not in too much of register. It would stay really high, but it sounded different, and so I went in my room and woke up my brother. Yeah, my same brother from the last story, because it's him. And he was like, "What the fuck? Why'd you wake me up?" Like every teenage boy would be. And then I said, "Listen." And I opened his window, and he was like, "The fuck is that?" So we, being teenagers in the suburbs, just because we were concerned something could have been like maiming and killing animals, we got our shotguns just to be safe. Not to, let's go murder something, or South Park, it's coming right for us. Nothing like that. What can I say? We were 14-year-old boys in the suburbs. It's pretty much like the country, so it's not like we were, intending on shooting anything. It was just we were trained on how to use them, and teenage boys are into guns. Paintball, airsoft guns, and that's just how it is. So we went to go investigate, and it had started in the far backyard and then got louder and louder behind my window at the back of the house and then around the corner. And we knew it was going up to the garage. Brother and I went out. It was getting really loud. You could feel the screaming on the energy of the aluminum garage door. You could feel it, almost like it sounded like lightning. It was very intense. And so I signaled, and he pulled the garage door up, and we didn't see anything. Zero. Not an animal, not even a mosquito. Yeah. So I don't know if that was a total coincidence, because I'm not always going to say it's ghosts. I know I say that my favorite thing to tell is a ghost story, which I missed. I didn't do that intro, so I'm going to have to film it. I don't know. It could have really just been a herd animal and then it ran away. It could have been something mimicking. But I think with what was going on, there were multiple entities. And I don't think it was one main spirit and then side spirits. I think it was all something that we don't understand. I loosely use the word spirit, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. And my thought is, and if I haven't shared this before, that my neighborhood growing up was just not in a ley line, but just a really weird energy field where it couldn't quite vibe back to positive from how negative it was, because, as I mentioned, White Bear Lake was indigenous people that European colonists took. So, I always feel a little bad talking about it, but hey, I didn't do it. So, yeah, just process that. Think about the land and where my parents' house was. If you dig down about 2 feet, you start to find clay and sand. So we think it used to be a beach and that the lake was really huge, or that it could have been a small lake that went away with time. We're talking hundreds of years, if not thousands. So it's very old. It's very, very old. People think back in history only to colonization, or that's the way my American brain works, unfortunately, is there's a lot of history that is about colonization. That's very strange, and that's what we're taught a lot. But I know there's so much more. It's funny, what I'm trying to say, we think of history in a place as established civilization, but what we forget is that every part of the world is old. Just because it wasn't established doesn't mean that it didn't exist and all of a sudden formed. That's not how it worked. So this is still, every place is old if you think about it. That's either really stupid or really philosophical. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this story, and check out the Ghost Story Guys episode with my story on it. But that is all I have time for tonight. Keep it spooky.